disregard for any rules of war that speak to the treatment of civilians. The reason is simple. According to the original Islam of Muhammad, there are no innocent civilians. Radical Islamists consider all people in or out of military uniform who do not believe in the original Islam of Muhammad to be the enemy until they convert or are subject to Islamic law. This is why they must be stopped. These Islamists' devotion to the ideology of true Islam has become legendary. Even so-called moderate Muslims who don't agree with these jihadists' devotion to the purest form of Islam or their terror tactics respect their passion and commitment. It is this very passion and devotion that is causing the ranks of original Islam to swell, especially with younger Muslims. The imams, clerics, and mullahs who exhort Muslims to take up the cause of jihad do so in absolutely uncompromising terms, calling on devoted Muslims everywhere to lay down their very lives for Allah and the spread of Islam. They are tenacious, determined, and relentless. They believe that the abandonment of the Islam of Muhammad, with its central tenet of jihad, has led to the weakening of Islamic culture. They are committed to worldwide conquest as the means of restoring Islamic superiority. They view this war in terms of decades, not years, and they're willing to fight as long as it takes. This is why they must be stopped. 21st century technology has empowered this army of fanatical true believers. Instantaneous global communication and rapid international transportation have made possible the proliferation of terrorist cells throughout the world. These cells use the internet as a recruiting and training tool, making it a virtual terrorist training camp to spread their radical ideology of hatred and terror across borders, oceans, and countries. This is why they must be stopped. They are utterly contemptuous of all infidels, non-Muslims, and even moderate Muslims. They believe it is their right and duty to lie and deceive, as instructed in the Quran by the law of taqiyya, all whom they regard as enemies. Any means, no matter how devious, cruel, or violent, is justified for the sake of the advancement of their cause. This deception has been perpetrated by doctors, mothers, engineers, news anchors, lawyers, and many others in order to kill and be killed as martyrs in the name of Allah. This is why they must be stopped. Radical Islam has been referred to as Islamofascism, and rightly so. It is totalitarian and authoritarian. Its leaders advocate the overthrow of democratic governments and law because this ideology respects no government or rule of law except the rule of strict Islamic Sharia law. The rights and liberties of free peoples, as expressed in documents such as the United States Declaration of Independence, will be completely eradicated if this ideology prevails. This is why they must be stopped. They regard the destabilization of governments and economies as a necessary means to the accomplishment of their goals. Death, destruction, and chaos are welcome allies in the jihadist march toward world conquest and the forced imposition of Sharia law. They delight in the devastation they would unleash in the name of Allah, were they to acquire and successfully detonate chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons. This is why they must be stopped. The civilized world has witnessed jihad such as this before. In the centuries following the death of Muhammad, Islamic marauders swept across Africa, Asia Minor, and into Europe. By the time of the Crusades, a defensive counterattack by Christendom against the jihadist onslaught, Islam had conquered much of the civilized world. Too many people dismiss the prospect of a worldwide jihad occurring again. In doing so, they misunderstand the ideology of original Islam or naively underestimate its resolve. Political correctness has literally paralyzed many in government and has created an atmosphere in which fear of being called intolerant or an Islamophobe trumps concerns over safeguarding our lives and liberties. Were we living in a time where weapons of mass destruction did not exist, and when global transportation was virtually impossible, a misread of this enemy might be excusable.